Good morning, fellow Americans, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We're here because President Biden's Build Back Better plan is crucial to families. It's time to not only let families get by, it's time to let families thrive. We want our children to thrive. My name is Amy Wiwuga. I am a mom of two. Hi, Harry. Hi, Maddie. And I'm joined here by my fellow amazing parents, Representative Eric Swalwell, the pride of California's 15th, a proud father of two with one on the way, and Katie Nash, a working mother with two beautiful, gorgeous daughters from Phoenix, Arizona. Katie, let's start with you. You are also an educator. You've seen this crazy year and how the pandemic has affected not only your own family, but your students and your colleagues. Can you share a little bit about your experience?
Sure. Good morning. My name is Katie Nash. I'm a high school biology teacher, a local teachers union president, but most importantly, I'm a mom of two amazing young girls, Kaylee and Kira, who attend outstanding public schools here in Arizona. I've seen firsthand the devastating economic effects COVID has had on our community, parents losing jobs, students being left with no choice but to go to work and sacrifice their education. I've also seen the long-lasting mental and physical effects COVID has had and will continue to have for generations to come. One of my former students lost both of her parents to COVID within hours of each other. I lost one of my colleagues to COVID not long before the 2020 school year began. As educators, we have been on the front lines helping our students navigate these difficult times, but we are personally navigating through them as well. As an educator, money is tight in my family. We are burdened with enormous student loan debt. And although we are considered middle class, we essentially live paycheck to paycheck with little additional money for things like glasses, braces, or even preventative visits to the doctor. I work 2 jobs year-round, including summers, to be able to provide those necessities for my family. Both of my daughters need to see a pediatric eye specialist who is outside of our provider network. We pay almost $400 per visit. Fortunately, we have vision insurance to keep the cost of glasses lower, but this year, both of my daughters needed new glasses. After the eye exams and glasses, we ended up paying over $1,200. That is nearly 2 weeks of my pay after deductions for retirement and healthcare are taken out. Like many families, the pandemic has taken its toll on us mentally as well. We have recognized the need for support from a mental health professional. I had no idea how we would pay for these services as we are already on a tight budget. Many of the professionals that are covered by our insurance either weren't accepting new patients or had a long waiting list. We were basically forced to seek private counseling, with each visit costing roughly $150. Without the monthly tax credit, I don't know what we would have done. It has allowed our family to learn coping strategies that help us deal with everyday life during a pandemic, and it has taught our daughter how to express her emotions in healthy ways. In telling my story, it might resonate with people in a similar situation. However, there are millions more who are not in this situation. They've been historically and structurally kept in much more precarious and difficult circumstances than mine. We need to work with all communities to make sure they are aware of the child tax credit and how beneficial it could be to their family. Now more than ever, it's important that we work together as we hope for a bright future for Arizona and the United States. Thank you, President Biden, for restoring hope in Arizona and the United States via the child tax credits.
If you want these child tax credits to keep going like I do, because when I the first one I got, I was at my budget end with summer child care. And July 15th, I got my first payment and I spent it on Pokemon summer camp for my son, Pokemon art camp, where he built this little Squirtle. So we need this. And if you want it too, please go to campaignforamericaschildren.com/BBB. That's going to tell your members of Congress that we need the child tax credit. We need the Build Back Better plan. Fill that out. It'll send a letter to your members of Congress, like the amazing Representative Swalwell, even though he's already on our team.
Thank you, Amy. And, also the common sense. But honestly, Katie, you and your daughters are the reason that my colleagues and I are working so hard to pass Build Back Better. And also just the way that you use your tax credit, Amy, reminds me of my mom, who raised 4 boys. And that tax credit would have been really nice and helpful for us, because for us to even play sports, and I went to college on an athletic scholarship to be the first in my family to go to college. My mom had to bust her back to work the snack bar. She was the fields coordinator. She refereed soccer games, all paid positions just to supplement our income. And I just imagine if we had that tax credit, when the washing machine went out, when Little League or soccer bills came due, it would have gone a long, long way. So we hope, Katie, that when we pass this, it's not just living a little more comfortably paycheck to paycheck, but that you and American families would be able to thrive. And so that's why this plan puts investments, healthcare, families, climate, chaos, addressing the deaths by weather that we're seeing, childcare and education, and housing and rental assistance. It really also focuses on paid family leave, which I'll talk about in a moment. But to just get to the brass tacks, the dollars and cents of this, the Build Back Better plan would build upon the American Rescue Plan and take the child tax care credit from $2,000 to $3,000 per child 6 years and older, and to $3,600 per child under 6. So you can use this, as I said, from anything from diapers to putting more food on the table, or supplementing, what you bring in to pay your rent or mortgage. Many low and middle class families qualify and have received, as Amy pointed out, these checks for up to $300 per child a month. 90% of children are already poised to benefit from the credit, including over 9 million Black children and over 17 million Latino children. We've heard from families all across America and in my congressional district in the East Bay that this is something that we cannot take away, and in fact, we need to build upon. So my colleagues in Congress, we must pass this for American families. So please click the link provided to tell your member of Congress to build back better. And also, this addresses the great inequality that we see in our country, because parents are not guaranteed paid leave to take care of their families. So that's the other benefit of this package. 79% of workers in the United States do not have access to paid family leave, and 60% do not have access to paid medical leave. This change would be historic, and not just for history's sake. Practically, it would make a big, big difference in so many lives. And Katie, I don't know, if we had paid family leave, what would that mean for you and your family?
Well, I've already had my 2 girls, but I remember having to use my sick days during or following both births of my daughters. And if you ran out of sick days, you just went unpaid. And I know for a lot of educators, they try to time when they're going to have their babies so that they have it during the summertime so that they don't go unpaid. I also know there's a lot of dads who would like to take some time to be with their children and their spouse, their significant other, their partner after a child is born. So this would be huge to help people out, to set up our families right from the get-go to be poised for success. And I also know that we have a lot of multi-generational families who are now caring for their older parents. So not only are they going to need to take time if their own children are sick, but also if their adult parents are sick, whether they're living in the home or elsewhere. We know senior care is pretty expensive. So they, like teachers, educators are taking that time to care for their adult parents as well. So this would be huge. I know we have had some educators here where I live in Chandler who have had to go unpaid even due to COVID. And fortunately, my district had passed a COVID bill, or not a bill, policy, so that we could have covered COVID leave. But even trying to get that, that's not consistent across Arizona. And I don't think it's consistent across the United States. So hopefully this paid family leave could also include COVID, so that if an educator is exposed, family members exposed, they could take the time they need to be with their family.
And, just to put a pin on this, last year alone, 10.6 million workers left their jobs due to caregiving responsibility. So it's not just the personal impact at the most micro level, but for our economy, we're seeing people leave the workforce because of a lack of ability to provide at home. And Black and Hispanic workers are more likely to leave because of lack of caregiving. So it's not right. We need to join every other industrialized country and offer paid family leave and medical leave. And that's why I'm all in on Build Back Better. But also, if we just take a step back and look at where we are in this country, we have suffered nearly 700,000 losses in the last 18 months because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The good news is that our country always, out of the toughest times, becomes a stronger people. And I think back to President Franklin Roosevelt during and after the Second World War, where hundreds of thousands of Americans went overseas, east and west, to serve. Many lost their lives. Our economy had sunken into a Great Depression. He passed the New Deal and created the greatest generation. And I look at this as the next greatest generation being created because we invest in families, not those who have the most among us, but those who have the greatest need and the most potential among us to benefit if they have paid family leave, if they have the child tax credit. So let's build back better and build the next greatest generation. And back to you, Amy.
I'm not on mute. So this is the thing, everybody. We have the power. We have the power to get this passed. We elected a president and a vice president, and they want Americans to succeed. Everyday Americans like you and me and Katie and Eric and his mom and families all over the United States. We need to tell Congress. We need to flex our power, and we need to say, vote for Build Back Better. This is what America needs to lift ourselves up. So again, go to campaignforamerica'schildren.com/BBB. And I'll also say there's a ton of information. We talked a lot about the child tax credit, but what a lot of people don't know is there's no income floor to that. So if you're a person that doesn't typically file taxes because you don't make enough money, you can still get the child tax credit per child up to $3,000. So there's up to $300 a month. Hopefully with Build Back Better, we'll get that higher next year. But so many people are qualified, but they just haven't applied yet. So if you don't normally file taxes, go to this website, and there's information on how to do that. But first, contact your congressperson, because again, we have the power. We need to collectively work and lift each other out of this situation and come back better and stronger together. So thank you everybody so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
And just want to take 1 second to thank our amazing partners that helped us in this adventure. Mi Familia Vota, the Economic Security Project, Arizona Education Association, the Community Advocates, the Arizona Center for Economic Progress, Coalition on Human Needs, Educare Arizona, Build Back Together, and of course, Common Sense Media, making all these resources possible for American to help out families learn about Build Back Better. So again, thank you everybody, and see you on the other side.
Thank you all.
Thank you.